What if leadership wasn't about striving and proving, but about pausing long enough to hear your own truth? What if liberation begins with awareness, noticing when the game isn't ours to play? Hi, I'm Dr. Claire Oliveros, and this is Ascend, where we explore what it really means to lead with deep roots and lasting impact. And because this week is the start to Filipino American History Month, this moment feels even more powerful, honoring our ancestors, our history, our impact, and our legacy, while stepping into something new together, like this podcast. Welcome to Ascend with Claire Oliveros. Real stories, bold leadership. I'm your host, Claire Oliveros. I'm an educator, a mother, a spouse, a former community college president and executive leader, and now your partner on this journey. This podcast is for Filipino women and women of color leaders, and for anyone who knows what it's like to lead in spaces that weren't built for us. Because the question we'll be coming back to is, what does it mean to lead with truth, vision, and heart, especially in systems not designed for our voices, and especially during turbulent times like we're in now? If you listened to the trailer, you heard me introduce RISE as reclaim, ignite, sustain, and excavate. Well, since then, I've expanded it to rise up, because it's not just about rising, it's about rising together and making progress toward a better world for us all. Now, Rise Up is more than a framework. It's mindfulness in action. It's a practice. Each step asks us to pause, notice, and then act. We reclaim our power and story. We ignite our vision and courage, often sparked from stillness. We will sustain ourselves with practices rooted in wellness, culture, and ancestral wisdom. We'll excavate stories and beliefs that no longer serve us. We will uplift one another in solidarity, and we keep progressing forward, not from reaction, but from awareness and intention. This is the heartbeat of this podcast, and each episode will speak to one of these pillars. We created this podcast to be a space where we can breathe, reflect, and remember who we are beyond the grind culture, the hustle harder, beyond the titles, beyond the performance, a place for real stories, deep truths, and unscripted adventures in leadership, all rooted in a perspective and a worldview of liberated mindfulness. I want to share a personal story. Something shifted. Something shifted for me not long ago. I became a proud mother after 40. Becoming a mother later in life changed everything for me. It wasn't just another milestone. It was a complete reorientation of how I wanted to live and lead. When I became a mother, I didn't just think differently. I felt differently in my body, in my bones. So the late nights, the endless work meetings, the long commutes, my body told me this wasn't sustainable, not while becoming a mother and raising a child. And co-parenting, especially during the time of the pandemic and racial reckoning of 2020. Liberated mindfulness invites us to listen deeply to those signals, to honor them instead of overriding them in the name of productivity and performance. Suddenly, what had once been bearable felt impossible. Long commutes, endless evening events, and weekends lost to work. It all came at the expense of the little child waiting for me at home. When most people hear the word ascend, they think about climbing a ladder, breaking through a ceiling, reaching the top. To me, ascending isn't about climbing higher. It's about growing deeper into your authenticity, into our cultural strengths. Because leadership, for us collectively, isn't about leaving our roots behind. It's about leading with them out front. To ascend is to notice, to pause, to be grounded, and to respond rather than react. It's the mindful act of returning to ourselves over and over so we don't lose our humanity while leading. Here's what you can expect from this podcast. Some weeks it'll just be you and me. Other weeks I'll bring on a powerful Filipina leader and other women of color executives who are doing incredible work. Filipino American women, leaders, and women of color who inspire me and whom I'm fortunate to call family and part of my community. One thing you won't hear is polished corporate speak. This is leadership as it really is. Unscripted, authentic, sometimes messy, because that's where the real wisdom lives. So, before you go, I want to leave you with something simple. Think of it as your first leadership challenge. Here are 3 questions to consider. Where in your leadership are you performing instead of being authentic? What cultural strengths have you been told to minimize that you know are really your superpower? What would change if you led fully as yourself? Your action step is choose one place where you can show up more authentically and as yourself. It doesn't have to be huge, even a small step counts. Take 5 quiet minutes this week, sit with these questions, breathe deeply, and just notice what arises. No need to fix or solve it all right away. That noticing is the beginning of liberated mindfulness in leadership. I also want to invite you to something special I'm really excited about. This month, during Filipino American History Month, I'll be hosting a free virtual workshop, and the focus will be on steps to courage, clarity, and change, a renewal path for Filipina American leaders. I hope you'll join me. It's Tuesday, October 21st at noon. And you can sign up at drclaireoliveros.com events, and I'd love to see you there. If you're listening right now, I want you to hear this. You are not alone. You are not too late. And your leadership, your voice, is deeply needed. And because we're beginning this podcast journey during Filipino American History Month, I do want to take a moment to pause and honor those who came before us, those who are with us now, and those we have yet to meet here. Send not just for ourselves, but for our ancestors and for our future generation, and for those who will follow. If it's safe for you to close your eyes or soften your gaze, let's take a deep breath in and let it go. Feel your feet steady on the ground, like the Nara tree, rooted, strong, unshakable. Place a hand over your heart and whisper to yourself, I am rooted. I am rising. I ascend with those before me and for those yet to come. As you breathe, remember, every inhale is resistance. Every exhale is release. This is how we practice moment by moment, breath by breath, knowing we are held in collective community. This is a sample of Ingat Ka micro meditations. Ingat Ka is the endearing Tagalog phrase for take care. If today's episode resonated with you, I'd love to stay connected beyond the podcast. You can subscribe to my Olive Branch newsletter at drclareoliveros.com/subscribe. That's where I share leadership reflections, resources, and more Ingat Ka micro meditations. You'll also be the first to know about upcoming workshops, courses, and a new podcast episode. Thank you for being here with me for this very first episode of Ascend with Claire Oliveros. Next week, we'll dive into the first R of the Rise Up method and unpack the word and pillar reclaim, what it really means to take back your story and your seat at the table or to build a new one. Until then, ingat ka, keep ascending, keep leading, and keep showing up as your most authentic self.